with Anthony Davis, basically parading, making it, and Gordon doesn't score enough, so they're gonna lay off Gordon and they're gonna double team Jokic. But I think Denver will still win. I would have picked him in 7 before last night. I'll stick with it. Denver in 7.
And Stephen A. brings up something. There hasn't been a team yet to figure out how to defend the Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic two-man game, and we saw so many different actions last night. There was a play in the first half where Murray threw it into the post to Jokic and then cut off him and hit a jumper. The dribble handoff game right here for a 3. The pick and roll game. At times, the Lakers were going underneath the screen. There was one in the second half where Schroeder went under twice right here, and he knocks down the 3 from the top of the key. So as much as we could talk about the adjustments, I saw nothing last night where I'm like, oh, they figured out how to guard that two-man game.
Right,
65
I agree
points,
with you
right?
Stephen
right.
A.
30,
go ahead.
Denver's 4-1 in this postseason when Murray scores 30 or more. You got to stop him if you're the Los Angeles Lakers.
Stephen, how important is Game 2 for the Lakers that they don't go back to L.A. down 0-2?
Well, listen, I think it's important. Don't get me wrong, because then you've got to imagine if they lose the game, can you beat the number 1 seed in the Western Conference 4 out of 5? But it has happened before, particularly when you're a team that wins your first 2 games at home, and then you got to go on the road. If the Los Angeles Lakers hold down the fort on their home turf at Crypto.com Arena right here across the street, you pull that off, then you go into Game 5 with momentum, and who knows what could happen. Phoenix was threatening to take that last series because they won games 3 and 4 in Phoenix, and Game 5 back in Denver was pivotal, but Denver handled their business on their home turf. If you're LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, it's not the end of the world if you lose Game 2 because you still got games 3 and 4 on your home turf.
They figured out how to guard that two-man game.
Right,
65
I agree
points,
with you
right?
there.
Stephen
Right.
A.
30,
go ahead.
Denver's 4-1 in this postseason when Murray scores 30 or more. You got to stop him if you're the Los Angeles Lakers.
Stephen, how important is Game 2 for the Lakers that they don't go back to L.A. down 0-2?
Well, listen, I think it's important. Don't get me wrong, because then you've got to imagine if they lose the game, can you beat the number 1 seed in the Western Conference 4 out of 5? But it has happened before, particularly when you're a team that wins your first 2 games at home, and then you got to go on the road. If the Los Angeles Lakers hold down the fort on their home turf at Crypto.com Arena right here across the street, you pull that off, then you go into Game 5 with momentum, and who knows what could happen. Phoenix was threatening to take that last series because they won games 3 and 4 in Phoenix, and Game 5 back in Denver was pivotal, but Denver handled their business on their home turf. If you're LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, it's not the end of the world if you lose Game 2 because you still got games 3 and 4 on your home turf, and if you win those games, you'd have momentum for Game 5. But it would behoove you to win Game 2 because this is the number 1 seed Denver Nuggets that we're talking about here, but one of the greatest players in the world in Jokic. So you don't want to find yourself in that kind of hole if you can avoid it.
And listen, LeBron is still LeBron. He's not quite as good as he's 38 years old, but he's not quite as good as he used to be. Just a touch, not as good. He missed his 3-point shooting isn't as good. What is his percentages from 3? I know he hasn't shot the ball well from 3.
It hasn't been great all season, and that's really been the one part. I do want to let's acknowledge the injury that he's going to have surgery for. Like he was fantastic minus the 3-point shooting. He was fantastic all season long. There has been times where it looks like he's playing more off the ball and doing a little bit less and conserving. And I think some of that is the injury.
All right, and he also missed a couple free throws in the fourth, which he's not a lights out, knock him down. JJ, 25% from 3. Yeah, and he took that was a tough shot last. Did you like that possession down by 3 when they had the one chance to tie in the fourth quarter? His long 3. Did you like the possession?
It's funny because we've had a number of these shots in the postseasons that we've sort of dissected. Did you like the shot? Do you like the shot? And I'm always like, yeah, the guy's open. Shoot the shot, right? Last night, he had Jamal Murray on him at the top of the key. I think you have to put a little bit of pressure on Jamal Murray. When you have that matchup, that to me is a bailout shot. And you're kicked to a shooter. I didn't love that decision from LeBron James. And generally, I do love LeBron James' decision. I want to bring up something because Mad Dog kind of hinted at this. When we talk about must-win games in the playoffs, it's a 7-game series. This is not an 82-game season where you're conserving energy. You can't lose a game. You can't. It's not a must win. It's you can't lose a game. Every game means so much, and so I'm confident that the Lakers can make this a series. They've got to win game 2. They've got to win game 2.
Hold on. Stop it. We've seen. I sort of.
The data would suggest you shouldn't go
I don't
down
care what the
2-0.
data suggests. By the way, speaking of data, when Jamal Murray was going up against the Lakers, they shot 13 and 19 from the field, 68% last night, to make your earlier point to buffer that about Jamal Murray and how the Lakers are going to really, really try to attack him. But to make your point, to address your point about you can't lose. I saw the Lakers, and Doggy, you'll appreciate this. You appreciate this because it's around your alley. In the 80s, I saw the Lakers lose by 40 in an NBA Finals game and come back and win the damn series. Just a few years ago, I'm covering Toronto versus Milwaukee. Toronto is down 0-2 to Giannis, and they win 4 straight. We've seen teams lose playoff games and come back and win the damn series. Don't tell me they can't lose. History has shown you can lose and still come back from an 0-2 deficit in the postseason. Doesn't happen often, but it's happened enough times, particularly when those first 2 losses that occurred for you were on the road. Now, you don't want to lose those first 2 games on your home turf and have to go on the road down 0-2, but if you're at home and you win those games, then you got to go on the road and win too. And usually if you're losing games on the road, but you come back and you protect your home turf, you got a decent shot of winning the series. If anybody can afford to lose game 2, it's LeBron and the Lakers. But I wouldn't advise it. But could they overcome it? Yes, they could.
Well,
Stop
Denver's
acting like it's
also-
impossible.
I'm not saying it's impossible, Stephen A.
You said you can't. You said you
Of course,
can't.
it's happened before.
You said it can't.
I'm glad you would
You can't
advise the
lose.
Lakers to not lose game 2.
I'm not advising them. You're the one that
great.
said you can't lose. You can't lose, as if it's over if they do.
I guess I
it's
look
not.
at sport. I guess I look at sport a little bit differently than you. I guess
we
don't know.
do. I guess we do. And you should know better. You're supposed to be the old man in the 3, not the young man in the 3. I mean, history shows this stuff. You the one that calls yourself the old man in the 3, right? That great podcast of yours, because it is great. The point is, that's the reality. You know better. You say can't. And
Remember
that's not
one
necessarily
thing?
true.
Remember one thing about 85 that's interesting with the Lakers? That was the first year they went 2-3-2. So the Lakers lost game 1. Good job by Steve. 149-115. A Memorial Day massacre. They got killed.
Got it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that game.
They won.
Yeah.
Were you born yet? Were you 4?
I was 1.
1. Stevie
So, all
was.
right, so we're saying this could affect tomorrow? I'm just.
I think no. Here's the point: the Lakers they were down 1-0. They lost the first game,
Yeah.
but they had 3 in a row at home because in those days in the finals they played the 3 games in a row at home.
Yep.
And that was the first year they did
the
it.
split was different.
And the Celtics won game 4, that series to go 2 up. If they played game 5 back in Boston, they would have won the championship again. But they had to play game 5 in L.A., and the Lakers with their home court took a 3-2 lead. I know it's wacky to me bring that up historically,